I'd like to take a moment to thank my mom for listening to every episode. Now, my mom is the real reason you're listening to this show right now, but the sponsors have a little something to do with it as well. So I'd like to thank our sponsors too. Clio, Alert Communications, Scorpion, TimeSolve. Now more than ever, an effective marketing strategy is one of the most important things your law firm can have, and Scorpion can help. With nearly 20 years of experience serving the legal industry, Scorpion has proven methods to help you get the high-value cases you deserve. Join thousands of attorneys across the country who have turned to Scorpion for effective marketing and technology solutions. For a better way to grow your practice, visit scorpionlegal.com.
It's the Legal Toolkit with Jared Correa. With guest Tara Vaval, a round of What Would Florida Man Do? And then, though nobody asked for it and we're late to the game, even we're debuting a clubhouse clone. But first, your host, Jared Correa.
The Legal Toolkit podcast. It melts in your ears, not in your hands. Wow, that's fucking gross. Yes, I'm your host, Jared Correa. Bud Collier was unavailable, so you're stuck with me. I'm the CEO of Red Cave Law Firm Consulting, a business management consulting service for attorneys. Find us online at www.redcavelegal.com. I'm also the COO of Gideon Software, Inc. We build chatbots so law firms can convert more leads. You can find out more about Gideon at www.gideon.legal. Before we get to our interview today with Tara Vaval, the laptop lifestyle lawyer who is the principal at Vaval Law, I want to talk about something I filed away for a rainy day: law firm document management. I used to watch this show called American Pickers on History Channel a lot. I love that show. I even went to their store, Antique Archaeology in Iowa, one time. I mean, I didn't make a special trip. I'm not that much of a loser. My wife has family out there, but it was a cool spot. I still have the t-shirt, actually. Anyway, the show follows these two guys around. Mike, the skinny one, and Frank, the fat one. They're kind of like a Laurel and Hardy thing. And they travel around the country looking to buy valuable antiques. So they buy them and then they resell them. So people buy this stuff for decorations or to fix old cars and motorcycles when the original parts aren't available. One episode, they go to this guy's farm, and old-time farmer got stuff all over the property, wall to wall, and these old outbuildings, machine sheds and barns, and they're looking for like a fender from an old Studebaker or something like that. And the guy says, well, I'm not sure if I have that when they ask. He says, my filing system is fantastic, but my retrieval system sucks. And this reminds me of just about every law firm I've ever spoken to. Ah, yes, the system that isn't actually a system, as it turns out. A lot of law firms, and that includes large law firms, by the way, as well as small, have their documents stored in all kinds of places. Let me tell you, I've seen some shit. I had a law firm that had a shed on a riverbank where they stored paper documents. A riverbank, you ask? Yes, kind of an odd place to be storing paper documents. I once knew a guy who bought an old convenience store for the express purpose of removing everything in the store to store the law firm documents inside. I've seen people storing legal documents in the backseat of an old Volkswagen. Maybe that's something the American Pickers would be interested in. I've actually seen a legal document on a street corner. Well, that last one was unintentional. But yes, one time somebody called me because they found a red weld on a street corner in Worcester, Massachusetts, and I tracked down the law firm that owned it. I was kind of a dick about it, though. I called and then I was like, hey, do you have the Jones file? And then I waited 20 minutes while they feverishly looked for the files. And they said, yes, do you have questions on it? And I said, you don't have the Jones file? It's in my hands right now. I'm kind of an asshole. But those are the stories that make attorneys sweat profusely. And yet, law firms are still making the same mistakes over and over and over again when it comes to file management. Since the mid-2010s, since the early 2010s, since the late 2000s, late aughts, I guess you would call that. What are they doing? Well, they're dragging their feet on developing a paperless system. Yes, even now in 2021, even after a pandemic, that's still true. They're sticking with servers and premise-based software, which makes it difficult for virtual staff to access documents, for law firms to share documents, files, and folders internally or with clients. They're also avoiding the application of naming conventions across the firm because some geriatric lawyer won't do it. They're not creating and managing a data security program, which would include coverage of case files and documents. They're not using e-signatures. And as I mentioned before, they're storing documents in a bunch of different places. I mentioned some of the physical places before, but I didn't include like Iron Mountain and places like that where you would store paper documents. Those are safer, but still ultra expensive, and there's really no need for it. Any paper document you have, the electronic file is just as viable. And as a lawyer, you don't need to keep your files forever. There are ethics rules surrounding that topic. And really, you only need to keep most of your files, the vast majority of your files, 6 to 7 years. But lawyers never throw away their paper. So if I'm thinking of a law firm that's got even a paper-based electronic system for managing files, or at least part of one, those documents are still widely distributed as well. Average law firm I go into, they've got documents stored at like 5 to 8 to 10 different places. Think of the places where documents live in your law firm. Maybe you got some on your C drive. Maybe you got some on your My Documents folder. Maybe you got some on Google Drive. Maybe you got some in OneDrive. Maybe you got some in Box. Maybe you got some in Dropbox. Maybe some are in your case management software. Maybe some are in email attachments organized by subfolders. Wow, that escalated quickly. But you see where I'm getting at here? That's a long list. It'd be longer if I went on, but I don't want to torture you. Now, each of those document management issues on its own, that full list I referenced before, that's a significant task for any law firm taken on their own. And if you're a law firm that checks all those boxes of document disorganization, that's probably pretty jarring. But you shouldn't respond in the way that most law firms do, which is to become overwhelmed and just do nothing. Instead, take one step in the right direction. What's the first step? Probably the easiest one, which is selecting one, I say, single hosting area, repository, source of truth, call it what you will, for all your legal documents. And I frankly don't give a shit which one you choose. If it's Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox, Box, something I never even heard of, don't care. Pick one, save all of your stuff there. You're going to save so much time and effort. You're going to be more efficient in your internal dealings with staff and your external dealings with clients. Now, it's going to be a pain in the ass to bulk upload and transfer those documents. I guarantee you that. You're going to be cursing my name the next weekend when you do it. But it will all be worth it in the end for the efficiency upgrades. Remember, the efficient law firms make the most money. You can find out more about that topic at the Clio Legal Trends Report. But wait, that's a segue to the next part of the show. Now, before we talk to our guest, Cara Vaval, the laptop lifestyle lawyer, let's hear from my daughter about what she thinks it's like to be a lawyer.
They have a boring job.
Let's see what the Clio Legal Trends Report has to say about that. It's time for the Clio Legal Trends Report Minute, everybody.
According to research from the World Justice Project, 77% of legal problems do not receive any legal support. It's a damning figure since it tells us that the legal industry has a problem connecting the people who have legal issues to the lawyers who can help. I'm Joshua Lennon, lawyer in residence at Clio. There's an opportunity for lawyers to help bridge the gap with clients, earning more business while doing good things to help the people that need it. New research shows that being flexible about how you get paid can ultimately mean getting paid more in the long run. In doing so, you could be opening up your services to more clients and avoid missing out on earnings. To learn more about these opportunities and much more for free, download Clio's Legal Trends Report at clio.com/trends. That's Clio, spelled C-L-I-O.
Okay, everybody, it's about time to get to the gator tail in the middle of this deep fried breading. Let's interview our guest. My guest today is Cara Vaval, who is the principal of Vaval Law. Yeah, I can actually say it. And also the laptop lifestyle lawyer. And she hosts a podcast of the same name. Cara, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be on. The energy already on this is fire. So I'm excited. Yes.
No, I went on your podcast. We had a great time. So I thought we would do this one. Yes. What I wanted to talk to you about during the interview segment is I think you've had a really interesting pathway into law and practicing law. You started out selling Mary Kay cosmetics, right?
Yep, I did. I actually graduated law school. I sat for the bar. I graduated the regular 3-year program in May, sat for the July bar. And my bar results were set to come out in September, as you know. And in August, I found out that I had passed a pregnancy test, which was, that's exactly what you do as a
I like how you were like, I passed. Not the bar exam, but a pregnancy test. Well, congratulations.
Well, thank you. And then so what happened was I couldn't tell my boss. I had gotten a job, out of law school with.
Oh, you already had the legal job.
I had the job because I had clerked with an attorney my last semester in law school. And so I had that lined up. It was a securities litigation. And I couldn't even tell him that I found out that I was pregnant because I didn't know if I told him if I was going to lose a job or whatever. So I hid it for a little bit until I was able to tell him. And then the attitude completely changed. It went from like super excited to have me on board to, like I would draft motions. He would throw the paper back at me. Like, did you even go to law school? Who wrote this? Like, just really breaking my balls, like for real. Right. Yeah. And so I was miserable. I didn't want to go to work there. He didn't want me there. But I couldn't quit. Sally Mae wanted her money back. Now she's Navient. But back then she was Sally Mae.
It's a rebranding.
Right. And so I worked for him for the following 9 months, but really did not want to go back to work after I had my son. I had maternity leave lined up for 6 weeks, unpaid.
Oh, of course. Right. Naturally.
Of course.
Yes.
Because that's how you do it. And then, my savings were running out about 3 months because I asked for additional time. And I swear to God, when my back's against the wall, the only thing I know how to do is pray. I literally prayed. I was like, God, seriously, like I cannot put this kid in daycare. He was still this little nugget. Like, I had all this ambition.
Like the hardest thing. Yeah.
Oh my God. It's like you go to law school, you do all this stuff. I'm going to make partner, this and that. And then I have a kid and it's like, oh, I just want to be a mom. And I'm like, I already have the law degree. I already have the license. I can always do this. I don't have to miss out on my life in order to do that. And so my honest answer to prayer came in the form of a woman who walked up to me at a local Target and offered me a facial with Mary Kay cosmetics.
All the best things happen at Target.
Target, I'm telling you, I swear. So I meet her. She came to my house like a day later to do this thing. And I'm looking at this woman. She was an architect who was doing this full time. And I'm like,
interesting.
How do you make money with this? Like, what are you selling? Like, how does this work? And so she told me, she says, this is how it works, et cetera. By the time we were done, I was a Mary Kay consultant. I bought a starter kit for $100. And I say all the time, I bought my freedom for $100 because that was my beginning, my beginnings in entrepreneurship.
Right. And that's a key point you make, right? Because like when you're a lawyer working for somebody else, you're not an entrepreneur.
No.
You're just doing work.
You're just working and you're making somebody else wealthy. You're making somebody else's dream come true.
The important part of that is someone else who's not you.
Correct. Exactly. And so I just started selling this stuff and I was just looking at the business model and it made sense. It was a work from home. You pretty much serviced your clients in the comfort of their home or in the comfort of your home. And, people just bought the product. So I was like, well, why couldn't we do that with my service? I can just, I can host like a law firm party, because it's like Mary Kay parties, right? And so anyways, I just started copying and pasting what I was doing in that world and setting up the law firm. And I used the money I was making from my profits from selling the face creams and the lipsticks. And I funded that law firm. And the overhead was always so low because it was always virtual. I got the office to collect my mail from my Suite 1000 for $49 a month. It's like everybody had Suite 1000, but who cares, right? It looked professional on my card. And
right. It's a downtown address, right? I'm good.
Yeah, man. And I'm telling you, I remember rolling in. I paid $25 for my first case. I had my intake with this new person. I roll into my virtual office and I paid $25 for the office. I literally had my family picture and my card holder in my little rolly bag from law school. And I set that up on the desk as if it had been mine. I was like 2 seconds away from hanging my diploma, but I thought it was going to be a little too much, right?
You don't want to go overboard.
I didn't want to put a hole in their wall. And so I just, I did that, and I had my manila folder with my intake. I did the retainer. The guy signed it, and it was some credit card defense, like some case, and he gave me $1,500. And when he walked out of the office, I was looking out the window to make sure he left the parking lot before I packed up my whole office, right, to move out.
Yeah, I passed into the parking lot like, hey, how's it going?
So as soon as he was gone, I was like, all right, took the check, took everything, went back home to work and to work up the case. And I was like, oh my God, somebody actually gave me money to do this.
Yeah.
And I never stopped 12 years later. And, I've done the 7-figure jury verdict, all of that just from home. And I never missed anything. My son's now 12. My daughter's 7.
Yep.
And I didn't miss a thing. And so, I'm really here to debunk this idea that you have to pick career over family, because it's bullshit. It's really not true.
Yeah, I think that's been a problem with the legal industry for years. And it's funny, when you talk to me about like being pregnant working for a lawyer, I'm imagining you like standing behind a vase so he can't tell and like handing documents over and stuff like that, which is sad.
Yeah.
But it's so sad that people, and I think so I bet when I mentioned that you had done the Mary Kay thing, I bet a lot of people thought like, oh, you did Mary Kay to get yourself through law school. But you were actually a practicing lawyer when you did that.
I was a licensed barred attorney.
I'll tell you, that takes a lot of balls to do, because not everybody's going to do that. A lot of people who are lawyers are just like, I'm a lawyer. I got to go be a lawyer now, no matter how much it sucks. But you tried something different, and it led you back to law practice anyway.
I will tell you, the benefit I've had, I think, growing up, the way I grew up, because my life was just like crazy, is I had the benefit of really never giving a shit what people thought about what I was doing. I was like, unless you're cutting me a check for my bills, your opinion really is not something that I will consider.
Yeah, but that's a rare trait for most attorneys.
I remember when my mom was like kind of embarrassed, like her daughter's gonna sell lipstick, and she was like bragging that, her daughter was an attorney. And I was like, Ma, I hear ya, but unless you're coming down here and paying these bills for me, or, taking care of this kid, like, I really, I appreciate your opinion, but like, everybody has one. Like they say, like assholes. Everybody has an opinion, and I can't run my life, which is my enterprise. This is me, my life. I'm running this show. I'm running this business that's called Kara's Life, and I cannot.
I'm waiting for the show on Bravo.
Right?
You let me know when that drops.
I will definitely. And so I cannot, have someone else's thoughts on what that should look like, have any impact, because I know what's good for me. I know what's good for and I know that when I was waking up working for this guy and driving there, how purely like miserable, I was miserable going there. And I'm like, I went to work my first year and I'm like, is this it? Like, is this really what I went to school for? Dude, I spent freaking 7 years. I paid money I didn't have. And then this is it? You gotta be shitting me. Like, come on. Like, I made a big mistake, right? So I'm like, can I just return the degree? Can I get my money back? You know what I mean? Like, please, somebody give me an out. But you know what? My son was the best thing that ever happened, because I never would have looked to entrepreneurship
Yeah,
To
you
be
probably would
honest
have
with you.
if you hadn't had a kid, you probably would have just stuck with
No.
that job for like 5
I
years,
would have
right? Or more.
stayed and I would have tried to make partner. I would have done the regular legal track and I would have been miserable. I'd probably be drinking to a stupor right now, you know? And so, yeah, and this is actually the truth for a lot of our colleagues out there. And that's one of the main reasons why I am putting so much effort into putting this business model out there, making it okay. You know, I've been doing it for 12 years. COVID made it real sexy lately, right? Because everyone went home.
Oh, I will tell you, like, I've been working from home for a while as well. And people are like, did you hear about Zoom? And I'm like, I've had a Zoom account for like 12 years.
Yes.
Come on.
You don't have stocks in Zoom, like at this point?
Yeah.
I've been
I
doing
drawstring pants. That's all I wear.
I've been doing this forever. And, you know, and funny thing is, my clients never had a problem. If anyone ever really looked down on me, it was my colleagues in the legal industry. Yeah. And, you know, I kind of had imposter syndrome for a little while, you know, like, am I a real lawyer? But then when I started getting the results I was getting from my clients, I was settling the cases, I was making the money, I was, you know, I was kicking butt as an attorney. I was doing great. I mean, I'm still doing great. And the reviews were coming in. I'm like, wait a minute. They got it wrong. I mean, because some of them had to close because they couldn't pay their rent, right? Right. And it was rent they really didn't need.
Yeah. You learn to be an entrepreneur, which most attorneys, they never get that experience.
Yeah. I would never in a million years have done it any different. You give me the same, you know, same law degree, same situation, I would have gotten pregnant again. So I could do it all over again exactly this way because it really has, you know, it has caused me to become so resourceful, so, you know, outside the box thinking. And that's how I approach everything that I do, including my cases, which is great for my clients.
Right. So was it just about the hustle when you were with Mary Kay and you brought that into the law firm, or what other lessons did you learn from that job that you use like on a regular basis? I'm sure there's a lot of them.
Yeah, I think probably the greatest discovery I made about myself in Mary Kay was that I had the gift to inspire and move people with my words. Mary Kay is a big empowerment community, women empowerment, and you get into a lot of personal development in Mary Kay. Mm-hmm. I didn't find out that I had a subconscious mind until I was 31 years old, you know, getting into these kinds of books and realizing that, you know, you create your life, you create your reality. That kind of world was never, I was not a part of that. I didn't know that, you know, I just was going through the motions of life and life was happening to me. And then I realized, oh no, life is happening for me. You know, it's a setup, you know, like there's a plot here, you know what I mean? Like, and the baby was a plot twist, you know, like, and then I started really getting this whole co-creative, you know, part that I play in life. And so I started really looking at the desires I have and what I really want to do. And then they became possibilities, not just things that I thought I maybe want to do at one point, you know, like I wanted to start speaking and motivating people. And then I realized, well, I can do that. And it's not, you know, I'm not stuck because I'm an attorney that's all I'm going to do. I'm a multifaceted being. I can be anything at any time, whenever, you know? And so it just gave me like room to play and I could be so many different things. And, you know, then I wrote my book because when I read all of this stuff, I was like, oh my gosh. Remember, I told you I'm from Haiti, right? Nobody was talking about the subconscious mind in Haiti. It's not like Tony Robbins is flying and doing, you know, conferences down there. So I'm like, these people need to know. And I speak the language. And so I started like putting stuff together to do workshops there. And, you know, that's how my book came about. And then I started creating these courses. And like, I just started making use of myself in a much bigger way than just what I went to school for. And Mary Kay definitely, I think, broke that lid open for me, you know, that we kind of put on ourselves with our careers. Like I said, we're fixed in that because of the personal development, because of the fact that now I realize that I can be, do, and have anything, like really anything. And it's really up to me.
Yeah, I love this. I think a lot of lawyers think of themselves as lawyers and they define themselves by that. But
Right.
we're all humans doing different things, law and other stuff as well. So let me add, last question for you is, you've also got this thing where you call yourself the laptop lifestyle lawyer. Nobody steal that. That's trademarked.
It is trademarked.
So a lot of what you're talking about, like there's a requirement to be flexible, mobile, virtual, so you can spend time with your family, so you can be the places you want to be and the places you need to be, right? Can you talk a little bit about that before we finish up this segment?
Right, absolutely. So, I don't know, can you hear the screams?
Oh, we're just building that into the show.
Okay, so let me tell you what's going on. So my sister,
there are no screams in my place, which is very unusual.
So if you can hear, this is exactly what Laptop Lifestyle Lawyer is. This was like on cue. You think I did that. So what you're hearing is my niece. She's 3. So my sister just flew in from Haiti with her whole family, all 4 of her children, my 2 kids. So last year, I was living in an apartment and I had rented this big house in Fort Lauderdale, an Airbnb, and we had a pool. And I had promised them that next year they would come to my house, in my pool house, and they would
you're
be able
visualizing.
To do
Very nice.
I manifested that shit. Okay, closed on my first home by myself. Okay, and all these kids are now at my house. They're here for the summer. We're going to be doing summer like for the next 3 weeks here, partying and just
nice. Can I come down?
Yes, come. But you see what I mean?
Can I leave my kids at home?
So when you ask me, what does laptop lifestyle lawyer mean? It means that I can have this whole thing happening, but I'm still working, I'm still producing, I'm still able to make money, but that doesn't mean I'm not living. You know, I'm living and I'm having a great lifestyle, which my law firm provides for because it's a very lucrative business when you have it set up the right way. I have a very lucrative firm that funds this lifestyle, that funded this house, that funds all of these projects that I'm, engaged in. And I'm doing it from the comfort of my home. I'm doing it without missing out on anything. I'm doing it while I take midday workouts and sometimes midday naps, right?
Oh, now we're talking.
Okay, and I think that more people need to understand that, being a lawyer and the image that comes with that stiff, like super serious, like you have to be in the office, like that's outdated. It's not cool anymore. It's cool to be able to be a full-time mom and be a full-time career woman or full-time dad or whatever however you want to look at it, and be able to afford the nicer things and the nicer experiences because the firm is still bringing in major cash.
See, Evan was going to try to edit out those screams in the background, but now I'm going to make him leave them in.
No, it has to stay in because that's part of what the whole thing is about. I'm home.
They're cursing under their breath as we do this segment.
It's okay. But this is it. I'm home and my family's here. Laptop lifestyle lawyer. I got and that's actually the rest of the day. I'm going to be working by the pool while they're splashing. And my clients are going to get serviced. The calls are going to get returned. The new clients are going to get signed up. And they're all going to be in the pool. And I'm going to be dipping in and out. So, yeah.
All right. Last question. I said that was the last question. I lied. You've got a conference coming up soon.
Yes.
I think within a couple of days of this podcast release. So why don't you give me 60 seconds on that?
Absolutely. So it's on July 15th. It's going to be virtual, and it is basically me talking about how to set up your virtual law practice overnight, like I did, because I set it up overnight with super low overhead, very super low setup. Everyone is going to be walking out of the conference with their firm fully set up and ready to get business. We're going to be covering different aspects from, of course, the setup, but also positioning yourself in the market so that you can be able to get your clients rolling in. And that's it. It's going to be a one-day event from 10 to 3. I'm going to be really pouring in everything I got, everything I know, because ultimately it's all about getting the right blueprint right? Copy the right cat. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel. I'm a copycat. I just find the right cat. And then I just put my spin on it. But I'm not going to, if someone already made the mistakes and already has the shortcut, why not? That's what I'm giving. They can go to laptoplifestylelawyer.com/virtual event and sign up.
Cool. Kara, this was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Yay, me too. I love this. I live for moments like this.
Hey, will you stick around for the next segment?
Absolutely. I'm down. Let's do it.
Okay, that was Kara Vaval, everybody. She's the laptop lifestyle lawyer and the principal of Vaval Law. You can find her hanging out at the pool. But as I mentioned, we're not finished with Kara quite yet. She'll be back in a second. We'll take one final sponsor break so you can hear more about what our sponsors can do for your law practice. Then stay tuned for the rump roast. It's even more supple than the roast beast. As the largest legal-only call center in the U.S., Alert Communications helps law firms and legal marketing agencies with new client intake. Alert captures and responds to all leads 24/7, 365 as an extension of your firm in both Spanish and English. Alert uses proven intake methods, customizing responses as needed, which earns the trust of clients and improves client retention. To find out how Alert can help your law office, call 866-827-5568 or visit alertcommunications.com/LTN. Imagine billing day being the happiest day of the month instead of the day you dread. Nobody went to law school because they love drafting invoices for clients and chasing overdue bills. At TimeSolve, our attorneys have the tools to achieve a 97% collection rate. That means more revenue for the same work and turning billing day into happy day. Learn more about how to get to your time and billing happy place at timesolve.com. All right, everybody, welcome back. We're here at the rear end of the legal toolkit, the Rump Roast. It's a grab bag of short-form topics of my choosing because it's my show. Today, we're going to bring back our guest, Kara Vaval of Vaval Law, to play a game with us. Kara, you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, this is a new game just for you. I'm calling it, What Would Florida Man Do? So, for those unfamiliar with the concept of Florida Man, it's a meme focused on the fact that a lot of crazy shit happens in Florida. And reports of that often begin, Florida man does something insane. But as it turns out, not all Florida man news stories actually come from Florida. So, Kara, your task is to determine which of the following news stories involve an actual man from Florida and which don't. Do you feel like you're prepared for this?
Let's do it. I got to put my New Yorker hat down and put my Florida back on.
Full disclosure, I'm totally stealing this bit from Tusher and Rich, which is a morning sports radio show out of Boston. They call it the Armpits of America. Well, let's not call it stealing. That's such a harsh word. Let's call it an homage. Okay, here's story number one. Harvey Westmoreland and his brother got involved in a fight with two other men that ended with Westmoreland being forced to eat his own beard. The altercation started when Westmoreland was trying to sell a tractor to one of the men. The men felt like they were being cheated out of the money, and the fight started. One thing led to another, and before I knew it, there were knives and guns, and everything just went haywire, Westmoreland said. And then they cut my beard and forced me to eat it, he said. So, Kara, Florida man or not?
No, I don't think Florida would make it.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Would you like to venture a guess? You're right, by the way. Would you like to venture a guess as to which state this news emanated from?
That sounds more like maybe Georgia or something.
All right, you're getting closer. You're getting closer. This is actually happening in Kentucky.
Kentucky. Okay,
Kentucky.
Yeah.
The home of beard eating, apparently. Yeah. Now, story number two. Are you ready for story number two?
Let's do it.
Jonathan Finkel allegedly told 911 dispatchers that he needed a ride to Hooters to help his grandmother, who'd gotten sick. Turns out his grandmother wasn't actually at Hooters, and she was not sick. So he was arrested on charges of misusing 911. And I say to that, Jonathan Hinkle, just call an Uber. Kara, is this a Florida man or not?
That's a Florida man.
Yes. Wow, you're really good at this. I'm impressed. That is a Florida man. All right, I got three more for you. They're quick. Story number three. Timothy Kepke, 27 years old, and his friends caught an alligator with their bare hands and tried to give it some beer to drink. The alligator bit them
Florida
instead.
Man.
and both men were arrested.
Gator Town. Yes.
Florida man. Correct.
Yes, Florida man.
Maybe they tried to give the alligator like natty ice or something, and the alligator was not having any of that.
Right.
It's like, you can't even get me a Guinness or anything like that. All right. Kara, I'm impressed. You're 3 for 3. I think you can probably finish this out. Let's even go 5 for 5.
Let's see.
Right. Number 4. Larry McElroy shot at an armadillo in his backyard, only because armadillos have an armor-like hide. The bullet ricocheted off the armadillo, passed through the back door of his home, and he ended up shooting his mother-in-law in the back. She's fine. The armadillo's fine. Larry's an idiot. Florida man?
No.
No. Correct. No. Oh, my God. All right. You said Georgia man before, right? This actually happened in Georgia.
Oh, did it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that definitely is out of Florida.
Are there a lot of armadillos?
I don't think so. I was
Georgia?
thinking more like New Mexico or something.
I feel like it's kind of weird that there would be an armadillo in Georgia. Maybe it was like a pet that they bought online.
Yeah.
I think the less we know about this story, the better. All
The
right,
better.
This is the big one, because you get this, you're 5 for 5. Story number 5. A felon wanted for violation of his probation live streamed his own arrest on social media. Wait for it, while on a jet ski. Florida man?
Absolutely Florida man.
5 for 5. 5 for 5. I wish I had a monetary prize to give you, but I have nothing other than my eternal respect for having come on the show and put up with me for the last half an hour.
That's awesome. That was fun.
Now you can tell everybody you went 5 for 5 on the Legal Toolkit Challenge. Well done.
Yes. That's going to be I'm going to put that on my resume.
Yes, that should be at the top of the resume. Kara, thank you. You were great.
Thank you. I had so much fun. This was amazing. Thank you so much for having me on.
Awesome. You were fantastic. Now, for those of you listening in Christmas, Florida, where it's always Christmas, I guess, our Spotify playlist for this week's episode is a collection of some of my favorite Christmas songs, because why not? It's Christmas in July, everybody. So as I mentioned, our guest today has been Kara Vaval of Vaval Law. For more information about Kara and Vaval Law, go to vaval-law.com. That's VAVAL-LAW.com. Also, as we mentioned before, check out laptoplifestylelawyer.com to find out more about Kara's coaching and to get access to her courses for attorneys, including her upcoming live program in a couple days. Launching new social media services seems to be a thing right now, but we've run out of time to promo our own version of Clubhouse. Maybe next time. And if I get a smartphone between now and then, maybe I'll finally try the real Clubhouse. Oh, who the fuck am I kidding? That's not going to happen. That'll do it for another episode of the Legal Toolkit Podcast, where fantasy lives. Oh, wait, that's Storyland.